Good evening and welcome to the Statesmen of Comedy. I'm Trevor Marmalade, and each week I'll be joined by some of the legends of Australian comedy. And let's meet them. First up, a man, one of the greats of Australian TV comedy. Will you please welcome Glenn Robbins?
Nice to be here, Trevor. Thank you very much.
And now, next to him, we have a man who cut his teeth with the D generation and has now gone respectable, which few comedians have ever been able to do. Will you please welcome Jason Stevens?
Thanks, Trev. Working on the other side of the fence now.
Working behind the camera now, Glenn.
Yeah,
it's comfy over there, I tell you.
Yeah, it's good work.
Yeah, comfy behind.
Not putting on the funny hats. Well, there you go.
Well, there we go. And last but not least, the man with the funny hat. He is a legend of the comedy scene, the man who once pashed Nicole Kidman, Greg Fleet.
Thank you. Yes, not only did I pass Nicole Kidman, but I got paid money to do it.
And it's something that possibly Tom Cruise hasn't even done, you'd have to say.
Yeah, certainly no proof that he has, and I will say that when I kissed her, I didn't have to stand on a box. So, you know...
And that was in BMX Bandits, I believe, was it not?
No, it was in something even worse than BMX Bandits, a show called Matthew and Son. And I was the bad guy. I was the one-dimensional bad guy who wore a leather jacket and pashed Nicole Kidman.
You do get the bad guy role, though, mate. You once killed Daphne in Neighbours.
I did indeed, and I've always said if you're going to be in a show as bad as Neighbours, you should at least take out one of the main characters.
Yeah. Now, Jace, in your role at Fremantle Media, you have to go to MIPCOM. Now, for people who aren't familiar with MIPCOM, can you tell us what it is?
Well, it's a TV market in the south of France, and I have to go twice a year. It's a hard job.
It's a tough job.
Somebody has to do it, but I'll do it. I'll get through it. Basically, we just look at see what TV content's being produced around the world, buying and selling.
Basically, a whole lot of people bring their TV ideas and concepts to this.
Exhilarating and depressing at the same time, Trev. You know, you think all this stuff's been commissioned, then you'll have a good look at it and go, all this stuff's been commissioned. You know, it's kind of like, it gets a bit depressing, but you do see some weird shows, really weird shows.
Anything catch your eye in the weirdness department?
Do you remember Bridget Jones' Diary, the film?
Yeah.
This was a new show they were trying to sell this year at MIPCOM called Midget Jones' Diary.
And that's the idea you want to...
Yeah, no.
Tom Cruise is going to do it.
It's too late.
It's a midget looking for love. Was it like a reality TV?
Dating reality show, and there's a segment in it where they have a speed date part, and she's speed dating the guys, and they don't realise she's a midget until she stands up to shake their hand.
So, you know, wow.
Nice hook, yeah.
Nice hook,
The question I often ask myself when I'm watching reality shows is, whose reality is it? Like, you see a show where there's a guy handcuffed to 12 women, and you go, well, where does that happen?
I don't know.
Somewhere in America.
Again, you and I, a couple of times. We're handcuffed to a couple of women,
Quite a few women we've been handcuffed to. Nicole Kidman. And a lot of police.
Now, what we're going to do, boys, we're going to bat up a few subjects and throw them around the table. First up, a little segment I like to call People We Don't Feel Sorry For. Now, look, as a rule, you know, we're generally full of the milk of human kindness, but there are people out there that we really don't feel sorry for, aren't there? Like, you know, for me, like, people who get hit by a car while listening to their iPod.
Yeah.
You know, really, they knew the risk.
I tell you, seriously, those people who are so fat they can't leave their house...
Yeah.
And they have to break the door down... and
or take the wall off.
Take the wall off, and then they can't fit them in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And then they die.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for them.
Okay. I don't feel sorry for the young Australians who go to Spain to participate in the running of the bulls.
Running of the bulls, yeah.
Especially if they're wearing a Collingwood jumper.
Yes.
In fact, anybody who wears a Collingwood jumper overseas, and you see people go overseas, they love wearing their footy jumpers, don't they?
I reckon your thing is pretty much anyone who wears a Collingwood jumper.
Yeah, I think that might be right.
So all that stuff about Spain and bulls is just a distraction. You just don't like Collingwood.
No, I do like seeing a matador getting a horn up the arse.
Oh, that's right. I like seeing a matador getting a horn in what I like to call the area.
Yeah, yes.
I think it's actually called the perineum, but that area between your bottom and your boy bits.
I suppose it's obvious, you know, but, you know, it's always funny. Anyone that gets hit in the groin, really. I mean, do you ever feel sorry for them? I mean, you know they're writhing in pain. Like, I remember when I was playing junior cricket, I got one right in the lower abdomen, and I was down on the ground, and my coach ran out to the ground. He said, my God, he said, we could hear your box explode from the other side of the field. I went, oh, I'm not wearing one. And we're going to move on now to a little segment called Exhume. This is where we dig up some footage of our panellists from the past. Glenn, yours is from the not-so-distant past. Of course, you had a great hit with Russell Coight and All the Aussie Adventures, and we've picked out a little bit to play.
A lot of people find outback driving dull. The reality is, it's a top part of the world. And if you keep your eyes open, you can see... I just tell you.
Where did you get that?
That's a real cow, and it's not dead. But we used to turn up to farms and we'd say, because we needed animals to work with.
Would you say, have you got a cow that can act?
No, you'd say, have you got any roadkill, right? Or anything like that. And you go to bed and you get up the next morning.
Oh, no, they would have gone out hitting stuff.
They come in the next day and they go,
Fix it up for you, mate.
We got the roadkill. And you go, what? Yeah, you got you a couple of snakes, a couple of rabbits, a koala. Is that all right? You go, koala!
Pesky koalas.
Yeah. Anyway, so I said, we can't do that anymore. We're not killing any animals, right? And then, so what that was, we knew we needed that shot. So anyway, we got the cow, which was a fairly small one, and we got the vet in, and the vet said, don't worry, we'll just give it a little...
Drug cow.
So anyway, they give it the injection, it just goes, oh, no! And he goes, a couple of minutes, it'll go down. It's not going down. So he goes, you know what, I'll just give it another one.
Give it another gem.
So he gives it another one, and it goes, stays up a bit longer, and it won't go down. So he gives it a third one.
An angry third one.
Yeah. Bang. And it finally goes down and we get that shot there. So then we get a bit greedy. Then we think, oh, I know, let's do a shot where Russell, for the promo, Russell tried, you know, when you wrangle a cow?
Yeah.
And the joke was that Russell would, to run up to it, pull his belt off to wrangle a cow and his pants would fall down, which is, you know, quality comedy. Anyway, so I pull my belt off and my pants won't fall down. So we're going, and the cow's waking up. So I'm going, quick, put some rocks in my pocket. So I'm trying to get rocks. I pull my, anyway, we finally get the shot. My pants fall down and then we cut. And the cow, I swear, the cow got up, it walked over into the paddock. It was standing in the middle of the paddock going, I don't know what it was, but it's a lot better than chewing grass, I can tell you.
Now, we've picked out a little bit for you, Jace, and...
There's a story before this, Trev. I should preempt the clip. Yeah.
OK.
Actually, I started going out with my wife 18 years ago in this very studio, and it was in the beginning of the relationship, and she'd gone back to Adelaide to see her folks, and she just started going out with me, and her folks were saying, so who are you going out with? And she said, oh, this guy off the TV. He does this show called The Late Show, which is live on Saturday night on the ABC. And they said, oh, OK. And it so happened to be that Saturday night, and it was live, and she said, why don't we just put the TV on now and see if he's on? What she failed to tell them, that it was a comedy show. So this next clip you're about to see...
It's the first time they saw you.
Their first impression of the guy their daughter was going out with.
Look at him. He's modeled himself on Joe Cocker. Sing like a big cat and dance like a duck. Sing like a big cat and dance like a duck. Sing like a big cat and dance like a duck.
You know what? Bizarrely enough, when I think of you in the Late Show, I think of that
Is that
exact
right?
song. Yep.
Did we go out together?
No, I dumped you once I saw the clip. Yeah.
And Fleety, you distinguish yourself in a number of roles, but probably not this one. You once appeared on Prisoner in a bit of an extra role.
I don't really think the word extra needs to be mentioned. I had a name, I had a character name. My name was Delivery Man 2. We'll have a look at the clip and then I'll tell you a little story about my relationship with the guy who played Delivery Man 1.
The kids are going to get a real kick out of it. I thought we were going to see the two that put this together.
Oh, they're at work.
Well, never mind. Oh, perhaps you can give them this. Some of the kids made as a sort of thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. I'll see they get it, don't worry.
Well, come on, let's get him home. Come on, left that!
There's a prisoner hiding.
Nearly had you wearing it.
Nice, pretty nice.
And the nominees. I was in Prisoner. I got shot in Prisoner.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
It's funny you should mention that, Glenn, because we went and dug it up. You were Delivery Man 2, and I believe you played a detective in the Moustache Squad, Glenn.
I don't know.
It's going to be a long bloody night.
Yeah, don't get too many good-looking sorts around here, do they?
Don't get too much of anything. At least that guy with the dog broke the monopoly.
Speak of the devil.
Quick, wind up the window, otherwise he's going to...
Excuse me.
He's going to shoot us.
Well, what about the script, though? Like, a man's coming at you with a gun and your line is, wind up the window.
I think that might have been an ad-lib as well.
Well, Fletty, Delivery Man 2, well, that seems like a bit of a misnomer to me, because you do bugger all delivering, you're actually Pickup Man 2.
Yeah, well, the guy who played Delivery Man 1 at one stage took me aside and went, hey, mate. And I went, yeah. And he went, if you check the script, Delivery Man 1, Delivery Man 2, know what I mean? And I went, nah. And basically he wanted me to tone it down a bit because I was getting a bit Delivery Man 1. He won Best Numeric Actor at
What was his name?
I can't remember his name.
Because... Please welcome...
At least you had dialogue, Greg. My only extra work, I was on Neighbours once. I was man at bank. That's all I did. Like, I didn't even have a name or a job. I just had a location.
You've done some other extra work, though, haven't you?
And I think that was the end of my extra career, to be honest, Jace.
Weren't you in Evil's Angels?
I
think everyone was in Evil Angels.
Actually, I had one line that didn't make it, but my agent actually, I had no interest in sort of being an extra, but my agent rang me and said I was going to be in a scene with Meryl Streep.
Nice.
Yeah. But what they didn't tell me is that in the scene, like, I'd be watching Meryl Streep on the television. Have we got it? Is that what
I'm hoping, yeah, we've asked for it, so...
OK.
Such innuendos, suspicion and gossip may cease. This case clearly emphasises that a choice has to be made between dingoes on one hand and tourism on the other.
Cheeky bastard.
Once again,
On
during
national
this
television.
Hey, it's like one of those things where you go and see the movie and, like, you're waiting for your one line and it's not there. It's like, a dingo ate my line.
But also that guy titted you off at one point, didn't he?
What's that all about?
He's going to reach up and give it a bit of that.
This is what also got cut. He was reaching for a pack of cigarettes in my pocket and I was supposed to, like, being the Attorney General's... I was Attorney General's aide number 2.
Ooh. Oh, sweet. You got one of the other guy was in it, right?
And I had to light his cigarette. And the guy kept fluffing his lines. I know he's probably a bit nervous, to be in a Fred Skepsy film. And, like, my lighting of the cigarette is getting bigger and bigger as each take goes on. Right? So after about 10 takes, there's a bit of a flourish. And
off the shoes.
And all I hear from the back is Fred Skepsy go, Trevor. And I went, lose the business? He went, thank you. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for Exhumed. We'll take that footage and we'll bury it underneath the nuclear waste where it can never harm anyone ever again.
Please do.
Well, look, coming up after the break, young comics, get out your pens and paper because we'll be back with Comedy Masterclass. We're going to bat up Comedy Masterclass now. Let's have a look at this week's quote. And the quote is, if you want groupies, don't go into comedy, learn an instrument. Because comedians have always bemoaned the fact that we don't get a lot of groupies.
No.
And I do have a theory on this. I always say that every girl would love to have a song written about her, but no girl wants to have a joke written about her.
It is a rare thing to get, to pick someone up at a gig. I did a gig once, the only time I've ever picked up someone at a gig. I did the gig, finished it, was hanging around afterwards, and this woman said to me, when are you taking me home? And I thought, oh, God, I've obviously offered to drive this woman home. So I went, oh, anytime. She went, what about now? And I went, oh, OK. So we get in my car and we're driving and I go, where do you live? And she went, I thought we'd go to your place. And I was about to go, well, how can I take you home if we go? And I went, oh. So we went back to my place. And I don't know why I'm going to tell you this, but we went to bed and I was in bed first and she was getting undressed at the end of the bed and I didn't know this woman at all. I generally don't, have a lot of one-night stands. She's standing at the end of my bed going, you really want me, don't you? You really want me. And for the first time in my life, I just was really honest and I thought about it and I went, not really. And she didn't put her off at all. She came to bed and so we were having sex and in a sort of very traditional kind of missionary position thing and we're doing it and she said to me, say whatever you want. And I went, what? She went, say whatever you want. And I went, I am. She went, no, say anything. So I just started going like, tennis racket, mouth guard. And the only time I've ever slept with someone and then gone, well, you should probably go now.
What was that? What was that?
I've got no idea.
We've got a surprise for you. Let's bring it out.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Even though I knew you were joking, part of me just went,
Well, you know what? I always reckon if you're doing a comedy show and they yell cut and then you think, they've yelled cut, I might do something funny after the camera stopped. Don't ever think that the camera has stopped. I was doing Uncle Arthur as Santa. And
so a character as a character?
Yeah, a character as a character.
Dangerous.
Ooh. Yeah, and anyway, we were being interviewed on Today Tonight, I think it was. And the joke was that there were some kids outside who wouldn't be quiet. And I'm going, come along with the clown bike. And I went over, you kids, be quiet. I'm trying to do a thing over here. Come back and do a bit more of the interview. But kids, bloody shut up. I'm trying to do the interview. A bit more of the interview. And that's great. Come along to the clown bike tonight. Anyway, and cut. So then I would go over to the kids. I told you kids to shut up. And I went and spat on them. Uncle you. Santa spat on the kids out the window. Anyway, they don't watch the tape back.
They just played it.
Anyway, so they play. I turned up to the Christmas party at Channel 7. I'm standing there, and I'm standing there, and the head guy comes in, and he's going. And someone says, "What's wrong?" He goes, we just had Today Tonight. We just put it to air. We just put Santa Claus to air spitting on children. And luckily, they don't know it was me.
The best bit of comedy advice I ever got was from you, Mr. Marmalade.
Really?
You said, start with your second best thing and end with your best thing. And you said to me, great thing about that, Fleety, the second best thing, they go, that's pretty good. Finish with your best thing, they go, that's even better, and they forget about everything in between.
Let me ask you, with that girl you're having sex with, did you finish with the best thing?
No, I started with my best thing.
Well, Greg, have you got any rules for talking to celebrities?
I've got a really bad habit of putting my foot in it really badly in real situations. I was walking down the street in London and I saw Stephen Fry. Brilliant man, very bright, incredibly good with language, and incidentally, possibly the gayest man in the world, right? Not that it's competition, but, if it was...
There's nothing wrong with that?
No, look, some of my best friends are homophobic. What? Anyway, but he's, that does become relevant, right? So I see him on the street and I just stopped him, which I wouldn't normally do. I stopped him on the street and said, Stephen Fry. I said, hi, my name's Greg Fleet, I'm a comedian from Australia, blah, 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 blah. And he was lovely. And he said, Greg, and what are you doing here in London? And I said, I'm doing some gigs with a guy called Stuart Lee. And he went, I love Stuart. And, so we're talking about that. And he asked me a question. This is where it went wrong. He said to me, tell me, Greg, what's it like doing... There was this certain series of gigs in London. He said, tell me, what are those gigs like? And I... without thinking, went, Stephen, you wouldn't be interested in them. I said, man, they are so gay. And I just kept making the noise. I swear to God, I was trying to think of a word that started with gay and ended in something not very gay. Right? The only thing I think of was Gaelic, which in a way is more gay. So I'm just making the noise until eventually I ran out of air. I was like a balloon. I went, gay, and there's this silence on the street, and he went, how do you mean gay? And I went, shit, fuck, shit. Just displaying my skills as a linguist, right? And I went, look, I don't mean gay like, and I'm about to say like you. I don't mean gay like, I just mean, really fucking shit. That's equating the two experiences. And I swear to God, he was so lovely about it. But while I was talking to him, I was 40 years old. At one stage, I looked over my shoulder and thought, I could just run away.
I was caught out the other day. I was out to lunch, and I'm sitting at a table out on the street, and there were some kids over the road, and they waved at me, and I've gone, g'day kids, how you going? Nice to see you. Just eating my lunch, and they wave again. I'm going, but seriously, I'm eating my lunch. And just let me. And they wave again. I'm going, okay, that's it. I'm not waving anymore.
You've had your quota.
You had your quota. Anyway, they wave on one more time. I go, and I look around, and their parents are sitting just here.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been waving at Mum and Dad the whole time, and I've been going, "Yep, hiya, how you doing? Nice to see you." Didn't know who I was.
Well, there you go, young comics. You're all set to go now. Your careers are on fire. You've heard it from the masters. Well, look, coming up after the break, tonight's Know Your Quiz, thanks to Pure Blonde. And tonight's quiz, thanks to Pure Blonde. Did I mention Pure Blonde? Very important to mention Pure Blonde. Is Know Your Big Australian Monument. How it works is I will call out the name of an Australian city or town, and you have to tell me the big monument that is contained therein. So just tap the desk and first one in. If you were in Robertson in New South Wales, what would you say?
I'll have a guess.
Robertson.
Because I know there's a big lawnmower out there.
No, it's not the big lawnmower. Let's have a look. It is...
Big tomato.
The big potato.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen the big spot.
I think that's a big potato. Just waiting for someone to come along with the big plastic bag and tidy it up somehow. All right, this one should be easier. If you were driving through Nambour in Queensland, what would you see?
There's the big pineapple.
Glenn is absolutely correct. The big pineapple.
Citrus, guess.
Because we went there once and we had a few drinks and we got picked up by the big policeman.
I thought you were going to say, a stealing fan.
If you're in Tasmania and you went to...
the Big Apple.
No. If you went to Penguin, what would you see there? Bit of a clue in the name.
Not the big penguin.
The big penguin is absolutely correct.
Surely.
Let's have a look at him. Have a look at him.
Wow.
This next town name in New South Wales, it's spelled Hawes. It is the town of Hawes. What would you see in Hawes?
Yeah. We all looked at Flitty for some reason. You take this one.
No takers. It is actually the big boomerang. It's not that big a boomerang, but it says giant boomerang on it, so we'll just have
let
to
you
take
know
that
it's
word
giant.
Yeah, in case you thought it was a normal size.
If you went to Hexham in New South Wales, what would be there?
It's an insect. The big mosquito?
The big mosquito is
Yes.
absolutely correct, Glenn. Let's have a look at him. There he is there, the big mosquito.
Next door, they've got the big hepatitis C.
What about in Cairns? What would you find?
I'm going to go for the big mango.
Mango? No.
Coconut?
No, it's actually a statue of a person.
Steve Irwin?
No, it is in fact Captain Cook.
Have a Captain Cook at that.
There we go. I think that's Captain Cook's lesser-known brother, Adolf Cook.
Give it a bit of that.
What's that? Come on, boys, must be this high to ride. Now we can all look at Greg. What would you see if you were in Nimbin?
The giant marijuana cigarette.
Yes, you would. You would see the big joint.
Yep. And the thing, every year they have a marijuana festival there, and bizarrely enough, I went the year after I gave up smoking marijuana, so it's kind of wasteful. But what I don't get is they have like 3 or 4 judges sitting like this, and they judge the best marijuana out of, like 30 or 40 different entrants. Surely after like 3, they would just be munted. Just going, the best one was number 34.
Now, if I was driving through Laverton North, what would I see?
Laverton
North in Victoria.
That's close to home too, isn't it?
It is close to home.
Big bogan?
Big
No, it is, in fact, I believe, the big abalone. Let's have a look.
What?
Are we sure that's an abalone?
That looked very dodgy.
Do it again. That's porn movie.
Drive through Laverton with the kids. What's that? Dad, shut up and face the front.
Is that Laverton Majora? Or Laverton...
Yes, I'd pay that, yeah.
And finally, if you were in Churchill, what big monument would you find there?
Churchill is home of the giant British murderous, traitorous Prime Minister.
Close. It is actually home of the Big Cigar. Actually, I think I saw the Big Cigar and the Big Abalone at the dinner the other night. And I think, draw between Fletty and Glenn, well, you can...
I would say, clearly that makes you the winner.
I got 1 right. You got 2. I'd go get 2.
Yeah.
Well, you're the winner with 2, and you win this, Glenn. Thanks, Trev. Congratulations. You've won a slab of Pure Blonde. That's right, you and 23 of your friends are off to your place for a quiet sip, and the quiet sip is on us. And it's beautifully presented in its own state-of-the-art cardboard carrying case. Remember to drink responsibly, or if you drink plenty, just act responsibly. You'll be the envy of your neighbours, thanks to Pure Blonde. Congratulations, boys. Very well done. That is all we have time for tonight on Statesmen of Comedy. Will you please thank our guests, Glenn Robbins.
Thank you very much.
Jason Stevens.
Thank you for having me.
And Greg Fleet. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Statesmen of Comedy. Thanks and good night.